Hello, today we will go over the game between Magnus Carlsen and Kuzubov Yuri. It's round one of the FIDE Chess Grand Swiss, Isle of Man. In this game, Kuzubov played it very well. He even had an advantage towards the end, but he made a couple of wrong moves. In judgment. So let's start with this d4. Queen's Gambit declined. d4, knight f6, c4, e6, knight f3, d5, knight c3, knight b, c takes, e takes. Bishop g5, c6, queen to c2, h6 hitting the bishop. Bishop moves back. g5, attacking the bishop again. Bishop g3, and knight h5. Black is going to pick up the g3 bishop, leaving way for his dark squares. Castle long, knight takes g3, h takes. Black has the bishop pair. Knight b6, e4, going for the center. Then bishop e6, bishop d3, queen f6. That's actually a good move. Queen to f6, e5, queen to g7, and black has a cramped position right here. So far, white has a slight advantage. Knight to h2, making way for future f4. g4, knight e2, which is a pretty good move. Or he could play f4 immediately. We play f4 immediately. Pawn takes en passant, and g takes because you want to advance this f pawn. Then maybe castle long. What if we play f4 immediately? Then queen takes g3. But yeah, so instead of taking the g3 right now, he would castling is preferred, because then you might have rook d g1 attacking the queen. So we have g4, then knight e2. Then black castles long, knight f4. Queen to g5. And white has the slight advantage right now. King to b1 to unpin the knight. h5. Knight f1. Knight's heading to e3, where it will be more active. Also, f3 is an option here. Before knight f1, f3, g takes, knight takes, and then if queen takes, knight takes h5. Queen to g4, then maybe rook h4. Queen to g4, white has an advantage. So rook h6, knight e3, king to b8. That knight goes to f5. Knight f5, bishop takes, h4, which is a good move. Trying to undermine the f4 knight also. Knight e2, because h takes, you can take back with the knight. So, and now the position is about even. So h takes, rook takes first, rook takes, bishop takes, then knight takes g3. And Carlsen only has a slight advantage here. Knight c4, bishop d3. White threatens bishop takes c4, and queen takes. picking up a pawn. Knight check. That's an interesting move. Knight takes, and it's an equal position. Slight equality here. Slight edge to white. Queen to f4. Now queen to f4, black is hitting f2 and d4. So Kuzubov is playing very well right now. And knight f5, attacking the bishop. If knight takes bishop, then black will lose the knight on d2 also. Bishop g5, knight d6. Black picks up a pawn, queen takes. Now here, if you play queen to c3, but this is an interesting draw line that the computer picked up. This starting with knight takes b7. This is a wild line. Knight takes b7, king takes, bishop a6, giving up the bishop for a draw here. Bishop takes, if king takes, king to a5, queen to c7. And this leads to a draw, to equality. Queen to c3 is not so accurate. This gives black the upper hand. So rook to d7, queen to b4. Let's see, instead of queen to b4, queen to c5. This queen to b4 is not a top choice. Then a5, queen takes, and then queen takes d4. Rook takes d2. Here, black makes a mistake. The preferred move is queen takes e5. This keeps the advantage to black. Should have played queen takes e5. Attacking the knight. Also, and the rook is still attacked. He's down a piece. But the main threat is queen e1. That's a big threat. White has to defend against that. A rook to f2 or rook e2. And then queen to g3. Threatening the rook and the bishop and the knight. So black will win back a piece. If rook e2, then black can pick up the knight, and he'll be up 2 pawns. Right, he can't play queen takes d3 because rook. Hold on, let me see. Queen takes d3 because rook e8 check. Yeah, that would be devastating. So bishop takes. So bishop takes d2, and that is a blunder. That's a pretty bad move. Queen takes e5 would have kept the advantage. So bishop takes d2. Queen takes, then queen takes e5, and knight f5. So what do we have? 3. So white has a piece for the 2 pawns. So c5, bishop b1, d4. That d pawn can be pretty dangerous. Queen to d3, queen d5, queen check, and queen takes g4, d3. So black is pushing that pawn. Knight there, hitting the queen, knight e3, queen d4, queen f3. It's almost even here, then d2. So white has to stop that pawn, so knight d1, and we're all even. Queen to c4, queen to c4, then queen e3. So black did pretty good here. We're still even. Rook d4, a3, queen to c1, threatening the knight. Queen to b3, and if he plays c4, then queen c2, rook d6, trying to go to b6, king up, and c4, queen to f3. So let's see, c4. Oh, you can't play queen. Can't go here. Or could he? Because rook b6. And white's under a lot of pressure here. So yeah, Carlsen did not choose queen c2. Instead, queen to f3, which is the better move. Queen to c2, rook b6. Then rook b6, bishop f5. So Kuzubov, he's doing pretty good right here. Rook b5, so that was a mistake. Rook b5, but black should have played, just simply moved the bishop to g4. Because the bishop and the knight would have held everything together. If c3, then knight takes c3. So queen check, king to a6. Then he plays bishop g4 with an advantage. Queen to c2, and Carlsen wants to trade queens. d1 is still covered. Queen check. If queen, queen c3. Here, if queen takes, then knight takes. Rook to e5, king to b1, and white holds it together. So queen there check. If queen takes, c takes, which is a blunder. Yeah, we can't. Then king to a1, then rook to e5. Going to e1. Knight c3. Rook there. Bishop d1. Then he marches the pawn. White is paralyzed here. So queen to c3. Queen there check. King to b1. Then rook d5. Oh, rook d5 was a mistake. And Kuzubov resigned here because white has queen here check. Let's see if king here. and queen to f7. Rook d4, bishop e2. Still fairly complicated, but white would have a big advantage. King to e7, king to b1. So this was a really tight game where Kuzubov played really well until we hit the end game here. So Carlsen won that game, the first game. So we'll see what happens tomorrow.